Hello and welcome to a brand new season of the Spike Ridgley Show here on WHS-TV. Once again, our show is being brought to you by Reliable Heating and Cooling of Massillon. I'm your host, Dave Sheets, along with the head coach of the Massillon Tiger baseball team, Spike Ridgley. Spike, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
You bet, our pleasure. Spike, your Tigers are off to a 2-1 start, which includes wins over Ursuline and Northwest and a loss to Glen Oak. We'll talk more about those games a little bit later. First of all, as we start a new season, tell us and revisit your career coaching path and how long you've been here at Massillon.
This is year number 8, believe it or not. It's gone fast. I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I'm grateful for the opportunity every day that comes, and I'm doing this job. So, but started a long time ago as an assistant, actually here. I was in the summertime for a little bit in the Canton Class A League, and then it went to assistant coach here for a couple of different coaches, and then finished my undergrad and then graduate school in teaching. So ended up moving over to Jackson for that first teaching job and got some great experiences over there working for Coach Gamble, and developed some good friendships and some good professional relationships as well. So did that, and then had an opportunity to be head coach at Green for a year before the job opened up here, and I was so excited for the opportunity to come back home.
As always, your coaching staff will contribute a lot to the success of your team this year. Tell us more about that staff and their roles for this season.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate. We've had, really, we only had one guy turnover this year. So Coach Pryor is still our head freshman coach. He works in the building almost every day. He coaches football here as well. Just a good quality guy. And then Coach Kelton is helping him out. Coach Kelton's been in AIS here at the school for a couple of years now. He's in his 3rd year, I think. And he's finished with his undergrad stuff now, so he's going to have some opportunities hopefully coming up for him. And then the JVs, our head coach is Nick Todich, and I know you remember that name. It's been several years, I think 6 years now with him. Does a great job for us. Him and Ken really run those 2 programs, and their responsibility is to really set the culture and make sure it matches what it is program-wide, and those guys do a great job with that, and their assistants help them with it as well. And then Reese Sabo is his assistant coach. Reese is in his first year here as an AIS, and he's doing a great job. You might remember Luke Sabo, that's his brother. And then on the varsity staff, we've had just a lot of consistency. We got Coach Knight still as our pitching coach. He's actually teaching at the middle school now. We have Coach Merceric, who's in the guidance office, been here a long time. Him and I had a laugh because he has now worked with me longer than he has with my dad as an assistant coach. So for those that don't know, he worked with my dad for a while there, but he's been here now 8 years with me. So, and then you got Coach Parker. Coach Parker works at Lake Local Schools. Has become a really good friend. He's been assistant coach here now for 7 years. So the continuity has been just outstanding, and even down to the trainer. You know, we have Lee Kuntz as our trainer, and we're fortunate enough we have an ex-MLB guy as our trainer with our kids. So. It's a good deal. We're blessed, and we have great support from our administration, and the coaching staff is great for that.
Now let's briefly go back to last season. How would you summarize last year's team, and who are some of the guys who are back this year to help lead the way?
Yeah, we've got quite a few guys back, which is always, it's always a plus. You always hope for that. But I think last year's team, it was a group that they worked hard. They always did what we asked them to do all throughout the season. And it was guys that were gaining experience, really. We were very young last year. We had 3 seniors, and really one of them was on the field most of the time, and the other 2 guys were kind of in support roles as seniors. So we graduated 3 guys. We had one guy move on. His mom got another job in a different state, so we wish him well. But really the rest of the guys are back. So for us now, it's about, with having so many guys back, it's about having that selfless mindset, team-first mindset. And the guys have been great with that. They're willing to play wherever we need them to go. Obviously, in the beginning of the year, we're trying to shuffle the lineup and figure out where everybody fits. That'll happen for a while yet, too. So I've never been a part of a team where the first opening day lineup is the same as the tournament lineup. So we're always searching for that. And right now, I think that the key characteristic of this team this year so far is that selfless mindset. And it's always special when you can post the lineup and everybody's all in supporting each other and the coaching staff, and you never see the body language dip when that happens. And so I think that's going to be a really important characteristic of this team as we get further and further into the season.
Talk about the selfless attitude. What are 1 or 2 other strengths right now as you see your team, and what areas do you see the need for most improvement?
Yeah, I think a strength. I think a strength that is slowly, it's slowly turning into a strength. Is we've got guys that they want to lead, and they're still learning how to do it. You got to be yourself. You can't be, they can't be me. I can't be, Coach Merceric. You got to be yourself, and so they're working their way through that as players. But the dialogue between coaching staff and players is pretty good right now through several guys. And the guys are learning to support that. But I think, one of the needs that we're always going to be looking for, and it was a need of last year's team too, is the offensively. We've got to learn to be more consistent, in the batter's box. And for us, that means having a consistent two-strike approach. We say the first 2 strikes are for you, but the last strike is for the team. Find a way to put the ball in play, protect the plate, expand the zone. And don't leave it up to the umpire on what's going to happen. Try and put it in play. And you asked what a couple of strengths. The second strength would be I think we have an opportunity to have pretty decent pitching this year. So it showed itself a little bit in the first 3 games. Even with the loss, we had an opportunity to win that game against a pretty strong opponent. So I think that's where we're at right now.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll visit with a Tiger player. But first, this word from Reliable Heating and Cooling.
There was a time when 10 miles to the gallon was acceptable. Today's 40-plus mile-per-gallon cars weren't even in the rearview mirror back then. Of course, this Lennox air conditioner wasn't on the radar either. It's solar-ready, the quietest, most energy-efficient air conditioner you can own. It's time to live in the now.
Call Reliable Heating and Cooling for the most advanced technology in heating and air conditioning. When you're ready to live in the now, call Reliable Heating and Cooling.
Lennox, air is life. Make it perfect.
Thanks, Reliable Heating and Cooling, and welcome back to the Spike Ridgley Show. The Tiger player joining us this week is senior pitcher and infielder Christian Marsh. Christian, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you back. We know you were on the show last season as well. What are your earliest memories of playing baseball, and who taught you the game?
It's usually just playing catch with like old teammates, friends, the neighborhood, and who taught me the game was my mom. She told me to grab the ball, glove, go out to the yard, play catch, and it's like I would think it would be my dad, but it was actually my mom. It's kind of funny.
Okay. What personal goals did you set for yourself before the season started?
The goals I set for myself before the season started was just put myself and the team in the best position to go out there, give all our effort, and just communicate well, have fun.
As a senior, how has your role on the team changed from last year to this year?
It didn't really change that much, to be honest. It was just more of stepping up, being more vocal, more of the same from last year.
When you're on the mound, how would you describe your attitude and approach as you work through the other team's batting order?
On the mound, I just try to be myself. That's what you got to do. You just got to think you're better. You got to beat them.
You're also listed as an infielder on the roster. When you're not on the mound, where's the most likely spot we'll see you in the infield?
Third base.
Is that your favorite infield spot too?
Yeah, because it's hot corner.
Yeah.
So
you have to be pretty quick with the glove there too, right?
Yeah.
All right. And finally, tell us something about Coach Ridgley that most people might not know.
He can be funny.
Okay.
It's like funny, but like you can't tell if he's like joking or not sometimes. But yeah, he is funny.
All right. Thank you. Best of luck this season. Appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you.
Coach Spike Ridgley will rejoin us on the program after we take this time out.
Hello, and welcome to the Stark County Humane Society. Today we're going to give you a few pointers when considering adopting a new furry friend. All animals here at the Stark County Humane Society are spayed, neutered, microchipped, vaccinated, dewormed, and if old enough, heartworm tested for our canine friends. Adopters will receive a free exam within 2 weeks of adoption at local veterinarian hospitals. We encourage all adopters to take full advantage of this. A one-time adoption fee is required for your new furry friend. When you adopt, you get an awesome adoption packet that includes treats for your new fur baby and savings for you. But this is not where the cost of adoption stops. Did you know the average cost of an animal like a new puppy or kitten can cost up to $500 annually? This includes annual veterinarian visits, preventative care, and everyday supplies like crate, litter, food, toys. But I hope this doesn't scare you away. Adopting an animal is a huge responsibility and a commitment. Please take the time to consider the cost of adopting a new pet into your family today. I hope to see you soon at the Stark County Humane Society. Please visit our website or visit us on social media for more information.
Welcome back to the Spike Ridgley Show. Coach, we just spoke with senior pitcher and infielder Christian Marsh in our last segment. In what ways does Christian make an impact on this team?
Yeah, it's been fun to watch Christian's growth. You know, I had him in, it's one thing, the fun part of being a teacher coach is I had him in class when he was a freshman in algebra. So to see how much he's grown since then, he was kind of the quiet kid that sat in the back and you kind of had to push him a little bit to get his work done. To now he's in that leadership role on the team. I'd say right now he's one of the guys we look to for that role. He's vocal when he needs to be, but he really leads by example. You know, he's always working hard. You know, when we move station to station, he's one of the first guys that are there hustling and doing those things. But he's also got the respect of his teammates. You know, he was a guy that as a sophomore got an opportunity because he was in the right place at the right time and showed pretty good mound presence when we needed a guy to throw. So we get a few more at-bats after one practice and kind of stuck with us. So we gave him some opportunities early and he seized them. And now, you know, he's one of the guys that we're going to go to when we have to have a win, and or we feel, hey, you know, he's going to give us one of the best chances to win of the guys we're going to put out there. And he's hitting a little bit for us now too, because he never put that down. He kept working at it. But just proud of him. You know, he's a kid that, you know, you watch your guys grow, and he's listened to the message, and now he's become part of delivering the message as well.
You've already had 5 games postponed by weather in the first 2 weeks. I know that brings a smile to your face. How do you go about keeping the team as ready as possible despite the weather issues you've had so far?
Listen, the team's been great. I mean, they've been great. I think it's the adults that you have to worry about. You know, Saturday was one of the most interesting days I've had as a baseball coach in a long time. We were up here Saturday, if you remember all the wind and things that ended up coming through. We were out there for 3-4 hours trying to get the field ready. We put some of the stuff on the field to help it dry. We got it all. I mean, we were going to go. You know, the team's on the bus coming down this way, and the cloud just went black. You know, we go up in the press box. The wind is coming so hard, the press box windows are shaking, the wood's flexing, water's coming in. It didn't even rain 5 minutes, and we were canceled. So, you know, it was Coach Merceric, myself, and then Dave Hackenbrack were up there working while the other coach was getting the kids ready to hit and be ready for the game. We go down, and I'm thinking everybody's going to be in, you know, and they were, you know, laughing, smiling. We were the ones that needed the pep talk, you know. So they've been great about it. You know, I think we're very fortunate to have the indoor. You know, that there's just a dynamic here that we don't have to worry about that you do other places that I worked. And when we have to go into practice, we can get 99% of everything we need to get done in there as if we were outside. So we're pretty lucky.
Let's briefly talk about the 3 games your team has played this season, which include wins over Ursuline and Northwest, and then a loss recently to Glen Oak. Let's talk about those games.
Yeah, the opening day, I think it was postponed twice, but it ended up being against Ursuline. And anytime, first team you play, I mean, you're facing their best pitcher, you're going to face their one. They had a 6'2" lefty that, I mean, he looked good warming up, and you know, we grinded out some at-bats. We didn't have a whole lot of hits. I think we might have had like 4 or 5 hits. But we played outstanding defense that first day. Christian pitched that game, pitched really well. Gosh, he made it into, he finished the game opening day, and you're on a pitch count. So you got to be really doing good pitch count-wise to be able to finish. And he was just really efficient. I think he was like 72% strikes. And then the guys did enough offensively to score 3 runs. We were able to get that win. That was a quality opponent, no doubt. And then, you know, we played Northwest second, and Brock. It was really interesting to see Brock Palilli pitch because from freshman to sophomore year, he's gotten a lot bigger and stronger. And he came out throwing. He was throwing pretty hard to start, and just was pretty good with his location. And again, he's able to finish. I mean, just really low pitch counts in those first 2 games. It was a close game throughout, and then we kind of pulled away at the end. You know, but that's the type of team right there where, you know, we have a lot of respect for them because, you know, they're perennially in the districts every year, and so, be able to face those guys in the second game, it was a good test for us. And then, again, just did enough hitting wise. We hit a little better. I think we had struck out 10 times in the Ursuline game, and we cut that down to 6 in the Northwest game, and that makes a big difference. So we scored 8 runs in that one. And then last night was a tough loss, but it was our kids played the brand of baseball that we want to play. They hustled on and off. They gave a really good effort, and from that standpoint, it's good to see. And you're trying to, how can we change that outcome? Well, we're striking out just a little bit too much, and at the same time, you got to tip your cap. I mean, they had some guys that really swang it. So if we get another opportunity to play those guys, I have no doubt it'll be another really close, contested game. So that's kind of gotten us to this point, and Drew Stitt threw last night. He kept us in the game. Kept us in the game. Matt came in and gave us a chance in relief. We just weren't able to get the big hit when we needed it. But again, played pretty decently, pretty well defensively, outside of a couple moments. But it's a game that we can look and learn from and be better for.
And finally, as our program airs on Wednesday night, in the next week, your team will have games against Ellett, Canton South, and McKinley. What can you tell us about those opponents?
Yeah, so if we get a chance with the weather to play Ellett tomorrow, we anticipate that they've got a guy that's going to Wright State, I think, and he's high 80s, mid or low 90s. So that that would be a really good challenge for us. If we have that opportunity tomorrow. Canton South, don't know a whole lot about those guys right now because we didn't get to play them last year, so we'll have to do a little research between now and then, and we will. We're just kind of taking it day by day right now. And then Saturday, Ellett again. So I got to imagine we're gonna face that guy one of those 2 games. And then from what I'm hearing from McKinley, and we'll get to that scouting report probably this weekend, is they've got one of the best teams they've had in the last 8 years. So a couple of the wins that they've got to show for it right now, it backs that up. So it's going to be a really competitive week. It's going to be a week where we're going to need to play defense and pitch. And you guys, we like to bunt and move runners, and we're going to have to do that to be successful.
Let's hope Mother Nature cooperates.
Yeah, it looks like it might. Fingers crossed, right?
All right. That wraps up our first edition of the Spike Ridgley Show for this brand new season. We want to thank Coach Ridgley and senior pitcher and infielder Christian Marsh for joining us. Thanks again to our season-long sponsor, Reliable Heating and Cooling of Massillon. I'm your host, Dave Sheets. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Tigers.